Welcome, low ego action heroes. This is Debbie Levitt from Delta CX. We're a full service CX and UX agency, and it's Tuesday, which means it's time for Office Hours Ask Me Anything. I usually stay here about an hour and I take questions live. Those questions can be about CX, UX, really anything. It's Ask Me Anything. And certainly in the future, I'll also start taking Acture questions. So if you're feeling a little stuck with Acture and you've been watching free videos and you don't know what to do now, I will help with Acture also. So let's take a look. Just a reminder, you can ask your questions anonymously in the LinkedIn, only here, deltacx.link/ask. I forgot to check if it's working. I hope it's working for people on Mac in Safari. If not, please go to Firefox, try there. Hi, Glenn. And what else? Let's see. Everything you might want to know about the show is down here, deltacx.com/links. How do you join my giveaway? How do you sign up for my Acture course? What shows are coming up? Where's the calendar? Boop, bop, a beep. It's there. All right. And also, let's remember to say thanks to the people financially supporting the channel through YouTube memberships at the mid and higher levels. Totally optional, but totally grateful. Anita, Chang, Darren, Ican, Irena, Jordan, Michelle, Nikki, Raleigh, Ray, Solomon, and Mix Betty. So thanks to everybody who donates a little money each month to the channel. You can join for as little as $3 American per month. If you want to hear your name out loud, it's $6. And other than that, we give all of the ad revenue to charity. The rest I keep to invest in the show and to buy chocolate chips. I think so far this year I've made $600. So thank you to everybody who is financially supporting the channel. All right, so because we have the way to anonymously ask questions, I did get 2 questions ahead of time, and we're going to start with those. And also note that you can ask questions live in the YouTube channel, the LinkedIn, and also you can tweet them at me at Delta, I think it's Delta_CX. I don't do Twitter so much, but there you go. And I have crazy puffy hair today, and I hope everyone's having a good day. So let's take a look at some of the questions that have been popping up, and I'm going to try to watch my email for any other questions that come in, because that's how they come in. Let's see. Okay, so let's get that first question up on the screen. All right, and this question came in last week, and I've been saving it, and it says, what are the differences between a junior designer's portfolio, a mid-level designer's portfolio, and a senior designer's portfolio? Now, I thought about that because this question came in last week, and I thought that in some cases, not a lot. In some cases, it could be an expansion of skills. It could be the number of projects in the portfolio. Someone's a junior, might only have 1 or 2 projects so far. It could be the level of strategy that I see in the storytelling in a portfolio project. So rather than being more tactical, I did this, I did this, I did this, there might be something that's a little bit more strategic in the approach. Maybe a little bit more knowledge of why I picked this methodology over this methodology. Again, it's possible that a junior knows this, so there could be no difference. But in some cases, the junior might not have that level of strategy, maybe some team leadership. As you're becoming senior lead or principal, you might be a little bit more of a team leader. So perhaps your portfolio story talks about anything related to team leadership, which I wouldn't expect to see from someone who is junior or mid-level. But ultimately, I expect a lot of the same things from all 3 portfolios. I expect good storytelling. We did this in episode 54 in the livestream podcasts playlist over on the YouTube channel. Come on over, everybody. It's free. We've got over 400 hours of content. There's got to be something here that's going to help you out. We talked about this in episode 54, that in general, I'm looking for good storytelling so that I can understand what your process is. And again, it's not that I'm overhung up on process. I want to make sure that you know what you're doing. And seeing that you know what you're doing, it probably a lot of that is going to be, what was the process of what you did? What steps did you take? What tasks did you do? How did you do them? Often these portfolios are missing that color of how you did them because either you didn't do them with a lot of skill. We can roll out my phases of proficiency model. Either you didn't do them with a lot of science and technique or skill, and so there isn't a lot of story about how you did them. The building block stuff looks to me like, I'm supposed to do interviews now, so I met 2 people. Okay, you did a thing, but how? Why? How'd you pick those people? Why only 2? How many should you have met? Do you know these things? These are some of the hints that I get that tend to be the differences between the different levels. I hope that helps. There's really nothing you can do about it. But again, make sure your storytelling is going well. And check episode 54 for more free advice from me on what you can do with a portfolio. We've got another anonymous question. Then we've got a question from Solomon on YouTube. And thank you, Larry. Larry says, I tested Safari on a Mac. It works. Okay, so thank you, because I-10 was having problems last week, and hopefully those problems are gone. I'm going to cross that off my list. It was on my to-do list. Check it. I didn't check it. Larry checked it. Done. Thank you, Larry. Okay, let me copy paste the next question so I can put it up on the screen because it was a little bit longer and you might want to follow along as I'm reading. And let's see. Ooh, and let me make the font a little smaller so it all fits on. Okay, so this says, I'm in the analysis phase of a generative research project, 24 user interviews over the past 3 weeks. Congratulations! The process is not perfect. I'm in an agency setting and I'm the only UXer, but I want to deliver a strong presentation so stakeholders can see the value of UX research. Do you have any tips or advice for getting through the thickest, densest moments of a research project when the light at the end of the tunnel is dim? Okay, so I'm thinking that maybe, I don't know why you think the light at the end of the tunnel is dim. The question seemed really awesome until I got there, and then I was like, what happened here? Why is the light at the end of the tunnel dim? What? Oh, hi, Adair. Okay, so we've got a question from Adair, which will come after Solomon's question. I'm just pasting all of these in so that you're in the queue. And Glenn will get your question in as well, though it's just an opinion. All right, so back to the question at hand. So first of all, I'm less worried about what is thick and dense and whatever. We are looking for, everybody knows this graphic, meaningful, actionable, and helpful. Instead of worrying about what's thick or dense, let's think about what is the most meaningful and actionable stuff that you can tell your stakeholders or agency client. Is there something you can surprise them with? Is there something they thought or assumed about their users or customers that you were able to prove partially or wholly incorrect? Did they have a guess that you invalidated? To me, these are some of the key things. One of my favorite things to show in these research presentations is the stuff that's going to surprise people. If you end up with a lot of, yeah, you were right, people like to shop for squiggles and they pay for squiggles, then everybody goes, well, why the hell did we spend time and money on research? So you need to punch people in the face with something that they might not have been expecting. Now, maybe to you, that's the thick and dense stuff, but I wouldn't show people thick and dense just to go, Look what I've done. Look how valuable it is. The question is, what does that thick and dense stuff say? And can you bring that down to something compelling? As I like to say, what can you punch people in the face with, figuratively, please don't hit anybody, that will make them go, oh man, good thing we did this research. Oh, holy cats. So did you learn something about the current experience? Did you learn something about competitors? I've got a client I super, super love. And a week or so ago, I think they got a little desperate and they said to me on a call, well, you know, the competitor does this. Why don't we just try that? And I said, well, first of all, we just did a mountain of research for y'all. And we found that your customers don't even like what the competitor is doing. So I know you think that because the competitor is famous and probably makes a lot of money, that they must be doing something right. But guess what? Everyone we met didn't like what they were doing. So let's not fall for the Amazon thing of, well, they're making money or they seem to be doing well or they seem to be successful. Companies are successful until they announce their bankruptcy. We don't get to see behind the scenes so much. So to you, UX researcher, first of all, this seems like a longer conversation that we can have. So don't forget that I do a little bit of free coaching for everybody. If we haven't had a coaching session before, won't you please follow deltacx.com/links. There is a coaching link there, and everybody gets 15 minutes free with me once. After that, I do charge, but I don't know who you are. If we haven't had a session before and you'd like to talk to me about this, let's talk about it. The 15 minutes is free, and maybe I can help you out. But again, to me, I want to give people what is meaningful, actionable, and helpful. What can we teach people about people, systems, and context? Did you learn something about tasks, habits, behaviors, preferences, aversions, tools, knowledge, workarounds? Come on. Do you hang out at this channel? Do you know what we're talking about here? Have you watched the micro lessons on task analysis and task analysis personas and how that approach can really make people go, oh, they're coming to our site to do that? Oh, yeah. And that's not easy to do on our site? Oh. And how do you know that? Video clips. Make video clip montages so that you can help deliver that message. Hi, Sophie. Sophie, anything for you to add? Please do. Brian says, yeah, what's the point of UX work if they're just going to ape what a competitor does? I don't know, but I do see it a lot. Hi, Charlene. So I think those are some of my ideas in answer to your question. If you think we can talk about it more, let me know. But don't show them thick and dense just to have shown them thick and dense. Show them stuff that's going to be meaningful, actionable, and helpful, and make them go, oh man, good thing we did this research. We're kind of going in the wrong direction on that. I remember some research. I've told the story before, I apologize, but I remember some research that was done on a project I was working on in 2013. I wasn't the researcher, I was the designer, and I ended up watching the research live and remotely. And everybody, my design usability tested well. That was nice. But then 7 out of the 8 people completely volunteered without being asked, oh, by the way, I'd never use a company like this. And I was like, yes, I've been saying this all along. This whole thing is garbage. And like, that was good. Hi, Shannon. Watching on the TV. I hear I'm very big, and now you can see I got a pimple today, and all the things that come with me being on a large TV. Anyway, I hope that helps, and keep us posted. Let us know how it goes. And thank you for being part of Office Hours. Let's roll back now to Solomon's question. Send. Alrighty, Solomon, not a smiley facey here. How do you convince product managers to prioritize solving for known problems instead of building shiny new features? So, Sophie, you stop. Sophie's telling me I'm gorgeous. You're covering me in butter. Solomon, it sounds like you're living in that feature-oriented versus task-oriented world. And we did a show on that a couple of weeks ago. You can find that in the livestream podcasts playlist. I do not remember what number it was. I want to say 130 something off the top of my head. But you can always, if you guys ever have a thing you want to know about, go to YouTube, write Delta CX, and then just write words and see what comes up. It'll be something. I've got over 400 videos on the channel. So Solomon, Delta, CX, task-oriented, feature-oriented. So how do you prioritize known problems instead of building shiny new features? That's hard. That is hard at a company that is not prioritizing known problems. Now, of course, Agile says that we must, if we have feedback from users and we know that there's a problem, we're supposed to prioritize it within 1 month, which for many companies is 2 to 4 sprints. So what some companies do is they will assign an Agile or Scrum team solely to fixes. Now, if you're talking about bug fixes, then that would be that. Larry says priority matrix. Hey, Larry's hinting at tomorrow's show. Tomorrow, Larry's going to be here doing a micro lesson on prioritization. I think he's hinting at that. Hey, Caroline. Love your enthusiasm. Micro lessons about roles instead of personas was brilliant. Well, thanks to Larry. He was that. Hey, Katie. It's not a new job anymore. You've been there 6 months, maybe 8. How are you? I hope you're having a great week. I saw your new hair color on Instagram, but you always look good. So Solomon, how do we prioritize for known problem? Okay, that's hard because basically you're saying how do we transform a company towards customer centricity and how do we make them more task oriented when they are feature oriented and a feature factory? And I certainly don't have the magic bullet for that. I'm not totally, I'm trying, but I'm not totally sure how to get a company to care about that. And that's why like things like episode 116 cover customer centricity, because instead of saying to somebody, don't you care about people's problems? Where's your empathy? Don't you care about problems? I find that if we say, this is business intelligence, this is risk mitigation, we have to solve for users real problems and real tasks. Otherwise, we run the risk that we're not building the right thing. If we are not building the right thing, we have disaster projects. Chances are your company has a bunch of disaster projects, and you should be reminding everybody of those. Throw them into the air and refer to them and go, remember that time we spent $500,000 in 6 months building that thing that nobody wanted and we had to undo it? So there's, you don't want it to be too nya, but you're going to have to do a little bit of that. So, hi, Roke. Love your energy. It's contagious. Awesome topic. Thanks. Well, this is Office Hours Ask Me Anything. So the topic's going to change like every 5 minutes. Adair says prioritization and decision-making are two problematic things. Yes, especially when different people at our company have different prioritizations of their own. We typically prioritize users and customers first, either current ones, potential ones, target ones, however you want to put it. And very often our product managers and engineers are prioritizing business goals, business needs, which sometimes this is the Venn diagram. They're not business needs, customer needs, not overlapping. And now we have to feel like we have to pick one. So also that's another fun exercise that you can do, Solomon, which is give everybody 2 circles. One represents the product, one represents the customers, and ask them to make a Venn diagram of how much these overlap right now. Cricket, cricket. Then we can have a conversation about why they don't overlap more. The product that doesn't overlap the customers is is waste. And then the customer part that isn't overlapping the product is money we were leaving on the table. Katie says, I'm learning a lot. I'm having a great time. Good. So Solomon, how's that? Am I going in the right direction? Does that give you some ideas? We can always have a call if that will help. Let me move on. And let me make sure I'm not missing any questions coming in from the... Oh, thank you. Thank you, UX Chat, being a subscriber. Thank you so much. Always appreciated. Okay, so let's see. The next question had to do with... recruiters don't have time to look at your portfolio. Let me see if I can find that one. I think that was... Okay, hey there. Here we go. I've seen people saying that recruiters do not have time to look at your portfolio. Sometimes they spend 1 or 2 minutes tops. Hey, Charlene, are you still here? Can you boot April, please? Can you click the 3 dots on April and hide them from the channel? Thank you. Okay, how can you show all your process in that time box? Hehe. The hehe got cut off. Okay, so here's what I tend to recommend. And and Larry is saying product decisions are made in a vacuum. Tomorrow's priority matrix lesson demonstrates how to get everyone in the same room to talk over product versus user versus tech feasibility. Yay! Okay, so answering this question, to me, you have to build your portfolio for all of your potential users, just like we do at our jobs every damn day. So that means your portfolio has to make sense for the recruiter, the HR person, the person with little or no UX knowledge. And for that, they usually like pictures of things. Then your portfolio also has to make sense for what is hopefully the UX veteran you're going to work for. Hopefully you are not going to work for someone who doesn't get UX and couldn't tell a portfolio from anything else, but it has to work for both of them. So what I tend to suggest is high level and compelling stuff right there on the portfolio with some sort of appropriate image. Don't put in stock images. I don't need that. I don't need people shaking hands or a wall of sticky notes. And then use accordions that can open and close to say, like, read more about my process or read more about how this went. I'm going to click on that. I want to know. I want to know how you planned your research. I want to know what were the most interesting questions you asked or some of the most interesting answers you heard. I want to know, how did you recruit for this? Did you talk to 2 people or 20 or what? So I think that an accordion is a good way in a portfolio to express that. Our show on Monday, December 20th will be my fantastic boyfriend, the wonderful one named Pier Mario. He will be teaching everybody how to build your portfolio in WordPress.org. For those of you looking to build a portfolio online, and some of these other systems are not that great, so WordPress.org is an option. We're going to show you how to do that. And Roke, you've got a question. I'm going to add you to the bottom of the list because there's a list. And thank you for that. Adair, how's that? And how am I doing with pronouncing your name? You're new to me. But thank you for that very sweet thing you just posted on LinkedIn. I'm very happy to see that. So let's see. And yes, I hear that too, that people just kind of skim your portfolio. Some people are just looking for those pretty pictures, but I'm going to spend a little bit more time looking at process. The portfolio has to accommodate both of us. So I would say accordions. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. Alrighty. Next was, I think Glenn asked this one. And this says, I'm sure you've worked with many different industries over the years. What industry is the most difficult to get UX right in from your perspective? And Mohammed, I see your question. We will add you to the end of the list. We've got a few people before you, but thanks for coming by. So yeah, I haven't worked in that many industries, and there are some that I don't want to work in, so I can't speak to all of them. But I feel like one of the ones that is going the most sideways would probably be healthcare. I think that healthcare UX and clinical UX are not really moving in the right direction fast enough. And healthcare is so important, so important. If people do not understand something about their health, their care, their options, their test results, talk about knowledge design and Larry's World of Knowledge Design, which you can find in the micro lessons. I feel like we're not doing well enough with healthcare related things. And I think that's even a little bit more obvious with things related to COVID. People are posting screenshots from, I don't know how to schedule my vaccine, to I got this weird message. What am I supposed to do? We have an app here in Italy that's supposed to tell you if you are near a person who is COVID positive, because they reported it to the app as you're supposed to. But my boyfriend got the message and I didn't. And his was really, really weird. His was like, you've been exposed to someone in the last 2 days. And he was like, okay, I know you can't tell me who, but where? And what am I supposed to do about that? So it's like even basic heuristics there. Like, what am I supposed to do about that? Hello, someone help me. Larry says, agreed. Medical and healthcare. Let's see. Yasir, we'll add your question to the bottom of the list. So that's what I would say. Medical and healthcare is probably the worst, but really everything is going kind of wrong. We can't even get social media right. The idea of posting something and do people like it and what did they respond to it? Like, that's a mess. And how about all the things that are swaying elections in various countries? That's a mess. Sophie says, let's put up her comment. Healthcare needs specialist UX skills, as there are rapidly very precise statements that must be followed and compliance is very strict. Good point. Yeah, we've got, in some cases, you need domain knowledge around medicine or biology, chemistry, things like that. And then, of course, what's the word I'm looking for? Standards, compliance, policies, things like that. So another great point. That's what we're messing up the most, in my opinion. All right, let's see. Our next question was about importance of research. That came from Roke on LinkedIn. So I will have to copy paste it onto the screen because I can only put YouTube questions up with your little pictures. All right, here we go. This says, oh, Glenn says, I am in healthcare. And yes, it's very difficult. Eek, sorry, Glenn. Then you know. This question came from LinkedIn and says, Debbie, how can we be more effective convincing leadership and board about the importance of discovery and research? I think my entire channel is about that. I think my entire life is about that. My entire book is about that. Everything I do is about that. And I will be refocusing my efforts in 2022 on leadership more specifically. I think in general, my short answer is we have to prove that we are business intelligence and risk mitigation. The problem is that when we say we're about empathy and caring for the customers, we sound really woo-woo and on another planet because that doesn't sound like something that makes our company money. Chances are we work at a company that wants to make money, and when we show up talking about empathy and delight, people are like, is this person going to make us any money, or are they just going to hug puppies all day? So we want to make sure that we are getting across to people. We have to speak the business's language, and we have to talk about how UX research and design are business intelligence and customer intelligence and risk mitigation. I have an entire episode about this. It's episode 116. Everybody knows you're supposed to drink when I say 116, since it's one I mention a lot. So please go into the livestream podcasts playlist on YouTube. YouTube, y'all, that's where everything's archived. You're never going to find it on LinkedIn because LinkedIn didn't plan for that. And again, easily you could go to the YouTube search and just write Delta CX 116. It'll pop right up. It is 2.5 hours long, but think of it as a conference workshop you didn't pay for. Larry says, does that mean we should bring a puppy to the meetings? Yes, at least one. Adair says, wait, which field of UX do you get to hug puppies all day long? I'm going there. It's the work from home field. Definitely hugging puppies all day long, as we do here at my house. And Adair, you're welcome. It's everything that I'm about, and there isn't a short answer here. And to me, there's a lot of things we have to undo, and there's a lot of things we have to do. You know, I just posted to LinkedIn saying, why are we posting social media posts and articles that say UX designers should stop solving problems? I get it. That's clickbait. Somebody pressed like on it. Congratulations. Now, I want you to apologize to everybody whose job got a little bit more meaningless because they saw your post or your article or your podcast interview where you went for the clickbait title of UX designers should stop solving problems. UX designers should solve problems. Yes, and we need to research and define the problem. So fuck all your clickbait. Fuck that I'm going to get demonetized for saying that. Fuck your clickbait. You are never going to be able to evangelize or convince leadership of anything if you or other people in our industry keep writing these shitty articles and posts that have these clickbaity titles that say fake it until you make it and UX shouldn't be solving problems and just use design thinking and 5 easy steps. You cannot do that and support that and evangelize or hope to have any chance of proving that we have any meaning at all. And every time we get a little bit more meaningless, we just become production designers. Larry goes, should I learn to code? Too late, Larry. Brian says, LinkedIn has become infuriating to browse. Yeah, sometimes I feel that way. My new policy is no LinkedIn once I've gotten into bed. So stop messaging me, y'all. No LinkedIn after I've gotten into bed because it's almost always crap. No offense. Some of you post really awesome, meaningful things. Sophie, Larry, some of the other people here. Of course, Ader, because he likes my singing. But there is so much stuff on there right now that is obviously meant to be fake thought leadership. And I'm just not having it. Do not care about your fake thought leadership. At what price does it come? Congratulations. People pressed like. You're killing the industry. So I'm going to be firing on that next year, starting in January. I will be writing and speaking about the UX Civil War and trying to get everybody to end the war and get on the right side. Because if you're not supporting UX, you are helping to break it down. And now people have to ask me questions like, how do I get people to not hate me so much and understand what I do? Yeah. Why don't they understand that? Why do we understand product managers, engineers, QA, DevOps? Why do we understand and respect them? And UX is like, can you put a box here and make it pretty? It's all the stupid crap out there, and I'm so done with it. And I'll use swear words if it helps. All right, thank you for that question, Roke. Larry says, you should emphasize once again that we should avoid responding to any clickbait because, okay, thank you, Larry. Larry's got a good point and a reminder here. Let's talk about this for a moment. And Sophie says, don't be a dick goes a very long way in whatever job you do. Very true. Larry wants me to remind you of something else I talk about often, which is if you disagree, if you write a comment under a shitty post or a clickbait post to disagree with people, you have just taught the algorithm that you like this. It will now be shown to your connections, your followers. You know, I get stuff like, you know, Larry commented on this post and it's some crazy ass post. And, you know, okay, Larry doesn't do that very much anymore, but some of y'all do. And you write in to say, no, design thinking isn't that, or no, blah, blah, blah. You are bumping it up in the algorithm. The best thing you can do is either ignore it or click those 3 dots on LinkedIn and say, hide this post. Teach the algorithm to hide this post. If you press like, did you know that YouTube was even considering positive engagement the dislike button? I don't know why they bothered hiding the count of the dislikes, because if you hit dislike, they consider that engagement and they consider like, yeah, this video must be worth showing to others. People are so fired up about it, they pressed dislike. So your best bet is to do nothing or to hide it. Do not respond to it. You are not going to change anybody's mind. Not yet. Yeah, Brian says they're targeting any engagement. Exactly. Don't give it to them. Play the game back. All right. So there was another question. Let me see. Where did it come through? Okay. This was Mohammed's question. And it says, I know lately there's a job called Quantitative UX Researcher. The role exists in big companies like Facebook and Google. Those people who work in are almost came from data science. What do you think of this role? I love this question. I don't get asked this very much. Oh, Hater says, instead of responding to that post, you can scream into a pillow and punch it. That's good too. What I used to do to respond to them was I used to screenshot the post, and then write my own LinkedIn post and post a screenshot and go, here's why I disagree with this. But I wouldn't I wouldn't share, I wouldn't comment under it. I would just take a screenshot and go, I disagree with this and here's why. Now it's a fresh post and there you go. So Mohammed, I definitely agree. In fact, I said this in my book, which I published over 2 years ago now, that I do believe there should be a data scientist role on UX teams. I was calling it UX data scientist, and I think that these are people who are going to be a little bit more on the quant side than the qual side, though there could be some crossover there. And I'm really hoping that we will be able to use some of the amazing abilities that many data scientists have to do modeling, to look at mental models and to help us try to predict what people are likely to do or with knowledge of what they're already doing. Sure, it's not as good, in my opinion, as qual research, but I think it's something that is worth checking out. And for companies who really love that quant research and we can't get away from it, then at least we would have an expert who would be looking at it and crunching it and hopefully crunching it honestly, because I find too many people, especially in marketing, no offense, marketing, I love you, but marketing and some other roles sometimes manipulate stuff or don't write a survey well or find a reason why this number is significant when it's really not. And I would love to see more data scientists getting involved in this and going, nope, that number's not significant, or that number's interesting. Let's spin up the qual research that will tell us more about it. So I do believe in that. I tried to get some of those people to appear on the show. I actually private messaged them on LinkedIn and asked if they would come on the show and talk about what it's like to be a quantitative UX researcher at FANG. And all of them wrote me back separately and said, I am not allowed to appear on any podcast or interview. So even though I wasn't going to ask them specifically about Facebook or Netflix or wherever they were, they're not allowed. So I could not bring them on the show. But I agree with you. I think that's going to be an interesting future direction for us and one that I would like to see happen. Maggie says, hey, I made it. Yep. Happy lunching or whatever you're doing. And then we had, I'm almost out of questions, y'all. So don't forget to ask questions. Then we had, oh, where did it go? We had the question that said, is there, I think it was yes here. Let me see if I can find it on my YouTube list. Not finding it. Where did it go? Well, anyway, we had a question that said, is there any undiscovered pattern or subject knowledge in UX which needs to discuss more? That's extremely general. How about yes to everything? I mean, what don't we need to discuss? We really need to discuss everything, and I'm doing my best on this channel to discuss everything. So Yasir, can you narrow that down at all? But to me, we need to keep discussing everything. We need to discuss better hiring, better jobs, better candidate assessment, stop doing design challenges. So all of the hiring process. We need to discuss how UX is talked about, written about, taught, all of UX education. We need to talk about how UX is done and why some people are not proficient and they're not job ready, even though they feel that they are. So many ugly things are happening out there, and I probably shouldn't say what's on my mind, but yes, so many things out there are ugly. And I'll just say it quickly. Some of you are not job ready. You're being rejected from jobs because your knowledge and skill haven't progressed far enough yet. It hurts. I don't like it. I'm sorry, but use that as a clue to keep learning, keep studying, keep practicing, get more mentoring and coaching. What I do not suggest you do, which I am seeing a lot of, and it is making me sad, is the people who are having trouble finding jobs have magically started their own freelancing agency. And now, with no previous UX work, and in some cases not doing good work, are now a UX agency of one or a UX freelancer of one. That is not the way to level up. It's just not. The way to level up is to be part of an organization, either another agency or a corporate team, where there are seniors and leaders who can help support you and help you level up as you try your hand at work that you are still learning to do. If you try to put yourself out there as a freelancer, then you are acting like, I know it. Whatever you need, I know how to do it. And in many cases, people don't. And I kind of want to gently or not gently say, hold off on trying to be a freelancer, because we run the risk that if you don't do strong work, what do you think is going to happen? Let's say your work isn't as strong as it could be because you guessed at it and it's not that good and you didn't have a coach or mentor. We run the risk that your client thinks, oh, UX is kind of garbagey. We could have done this ourselves. Maybe we don't need these UX people. You could accidentally be part of that problem. So please do not rush into trying to be a freelancer. Keep studying and practicing and work towards getting that first job where you can be in a supportive environment and learn how to do this right. You can always be a freelancer later when you really know what you're doing. But while you're guessing at this because of some Udemy courses you took or things like that, I'm worried about you, I'm worried about the project, I'm worried about the customers who have to use this, and I'm worried about what your client thinks of UX after you're done. And in many cases, the work you're doing isn't even really UX. It's often marketing or web design because no users were involved, which means it's not going to help your portfolio. David says, a discipline either continuously and purposefully evolves or it perishes. Yeah, we're in a little bit of that perishing state right now, and I hope we can turn it around. Larry says we need to keep reminding non-UXers that UX is not UI design. Adair says we have a lot to discuss, that's for sure. Yeah, there's really no I'm not going to run out of topics. I've been doing the YouTube channel for over 2 years now, and we haven't run out of topics. In fact, we've got new ones all the time, so I'm not going away anytime soon. Katie says there's so much advice out there that says to just start freelancing if you can't find a job in UX. Katie, you're totally right, and this is advice that I have pushed against ever since I've heard it. It's just not true. Just not true. And the problem is, who wants that freelancer? Let's put Katie's comment up. Who wants that freelancer? When I think about, ooh, you know what? I think I need a freelancer. You know, I think about hiring Sophies and Larrys and the people who I know are just like totally know what to do and are going to hit it out of the park. Or I'm thinking about starting an apprenticeship project so I can support people. But yeah, I'm assuming if it's not an apprenticeship project, I need people who can get it done. They are all the way on that. They're through the phases of proficiency. They've got strategy, science, and technique. It's not just, yeah, I can use Figma and I can guess at your web pages. If the project is, we need some better web pages, and there's no research and or no testing, this isn't UX. And even if you put it in your portfolio, I'm not going to see it as UX. If real users are not involved, it's not UX, it's web design. And that's what a lot of these freelance projects end up being. How's that? I think that catches me up on questions. Does anybody have any more questions? I'm not seeing any questions in my email. You can ask anonymously at deltacx.link/ask, or you can ask right here in the chat room. I'm monitoring YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Glenn says maybe there's a huge gap in the market for a real UX company. Yeah, I think so. You know, I wrote an article some months ago, and we did it as an episode here about what I called the coming shift and correction in CX and UX. And I believe that what's going to happen is UX has already split, and it's going to split more. And the split is, are you a production designer who just does what the client or stakeholder asks for because it's easier to just say yes, or they're not letting you do anything deeper than that? Or are you, as I like to call it, the children of Don Norman, somebody who really wants to dive into problem finding and problem solving, understanding people, contexts, and systems. Sorry, wrong graphic. Wrong, and now I exited the wrong graphic. People, contexts, and systems to make sure we're doing the right things, building the right things for the right people. So I believe that UX jobs are going to split, and basically some of what we think of as UX now is just going to be production design. It's just going to be people making pretty screens, and someone's going to call that UX because it sounds cool and it gets a high paycheck. But then we're going to have the people who are really doing the problem finding and the problem solving and don't want to be production designers. These are change agents. These are people who have to make things better and have to do this stuff with science and technique and critical thinking. I don't know whether or not that'll be called UX. I think it could be called CX. I think it could be called a whole bunch of things, but it's definitely, I think it's going to split. And so I think we're going to see a split both in corporate jobs, and I think we're going to see a split in agencies and consultancies. There are definitely some agencies out there that are just being a pair of hands. And when someone asks for UX work, some visual designer makes some screens. And then there are some agencies that are really doing the real thing, like, again, the Larrys and Sophies and Davids and me's and some other people who are here. But hello, this is Office Hours Ask Me Anything. Please make sure you subscribe on YouTube. And the number one thing I could ask y'all to do is tell friends and colleagues about this channel. This channel is still sadly unknown. People with way sadder messages than I'm giving have 10 times the subscribers I do, and it's a little depressing. I don't need the subscribers for money. This channel isn't monetized. All ad revenue is donated to charity. In October, we gave October's money to the Breast Cancer Society of Canada, and I gave November's money to the Trevor Project. December, unknown yet. So I think that that's the best thing you can do. Share this with your coworkers. Share this channel with your managers and leaders. Share this with non-UX people because I want to get them involved too. Larry says, as long as hiring managers are looking for pretty pictures in UX portfolios, we'll continue to see UX being misunderstood. Yep, and I created an 8-hour training for HR recruiters and hiring managers to explain how to hire us. You can find a link to it, deltacx.com/links. I can only do what I can do. Sophie says, everyone, just so you know, been doing this for 15 years with a solid 5 years as a wireframe monkey that taught me so much. Larry says, when I was freelancing, I would politely end a meeting if the manager asked for a UX research portfolio. Why, Larry? You've got good background in this stuff. Why would you end the meeting? I don't know what happened there. Okay, so we've got a question from Urvi. Let's put it on the list of questions and add it to the screen, and let's see what everybody wants to add to that. Thank you for joining us. It says, in what scenarios does a researcher ask what, oh, thank you, bada bing bang boom. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for becoming a member and supporting the channel. Okay, back to Urvi. Hello. In what scenarios does a researcher ask, what are some unique ways in which people are using product XYZ? All I can think of is marketing for the product for good accidental features. Interesting. So let me ask you a follow-up question. Hopefully you're still here. Is there something at your job or something where someone wants you to find a bunch of customers or non-customers and ask how they're using a competitor's product? Larry's here today and he's going to tell you, don't research competitor stuff too deeply because chances are they're not doing it right either. Remember, sometimes people rip off competitors and they don't realize that behind the scenes, competitors are hopefully researching and designing and trying to fix their own problems and improve their own systems. They're not getting it right either. They're not done. And sometimes oh my God, I remember story time, kids. Oh my gosh, get out your hot cocoa. I remember one time at a famous company I shouldn't name, they always kept their eyes on competitors. Oh, every quarter we had to do an assessment of competitors. And I remember the competitor had released something into their app and our company's response was like, oh yeah, maybe we should do that too. If they're rolling it out, maybe we should roll it out. And of course I'm like, we should research this. We shouldn't just do the things. And everyone's like, no, if they're rolling it out, we don't want to be too far behind. We'll roll it out too. Well, they went on this whole thing. They spun up this project. It's probably 6 figures, really expensive. And we rolled it out. And the next quarter, when we went to do our competitive analysis, the competitor had removed it. So it was either an experiment that failed or it was a real feature that got removed for whatever reason. So do not rush to copy a competitor or get too drowning in what the competitor is doing, looking for inspiration or looking for what features you should have. The best way to figure out what features you should have is to better know your target customers. Larry says, Urvi, isn't that just trying to justify an existing product rather than trying to find a completely unmet need? Larry's right. The best products, hopefully you're doing big rethinking of things, but whether you're stuck doing incremental changes or big rethinking of things, you have to look for the unmet need. And so here on the channel, we always talk about task analysis, and we have the micro lessons playlist, which has a couple of different videos on task analysis. So please go to the micro lessons playlist, look for task analysis and optimized task flow, task analysis personas, and knowledge design, part of the task analysis series. And take a look at that, because ultimately, if we can do research with people and see how they're doing that task now, that could include something they're doing on a competitor's site. But the point there wouldn't be to just copy something the competitor is doing. The point would be to understand that unmet need, to understand the steps that our user is taking, which may include us or a competitor or something else, to take a look at how they do it. Tools, what knowledge do they need, or do we expect them to remember something? Are they creating workarounds or cheat sheets or pulling out a calculator? Are there issues, concerns, or obstacles? All of these can then be optimized to find those unmet needs and create a better world. So Don't get too hung up in competitors. Make sure you're looking more at how your customer approaches tasks. I've got this graphic as well that I like to roll out, which is if you do this observational research correctly, you will start with what is the trigger that starts the task or workflow? Why were they going to your site or competitor sites or Google or something else? Then I like to call it orbit. Maybe they're going to come to your site today. Maybe they're going to go to the competitors. They're making a decision. The more we can know about that decision-making process, who else is involved in it, who has to approve it, these are parts of the task as well that can help us design for all of the people who are involved. Now they're in your ecosystem. They're in your site, your app, your hotel, your whatever. But remember, after that, there's something that happens after that. There's something they're going to do after that task. They're waiting for a package. They're using that information somewhere else. This is why we say the end-to-end customer journey rather than accidentally focusing on that time on your site or the time on the customer's site, app, hotel, product, whatever it is. So be careful of that siren of, ooh, what should we do that the competitors are doing? Most of the bullshit projects I've been on were those, hey, you know, the competitor's doing this. Let's see if we can make up a reason to do that here. I remember at the company I didn't just name, somebody was like, hey, we want to do this. Can you find a use case for it? And I said, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. We do not come up with an idea for a feature and then try to reverse engineer a reason to do it. If we don't have a good reason to do it, let's not do it. The end. Let's see. Adair says, one thing that always comes to mind is how can business with design teams with so many titles going around still have so many awful products? I'm not going to treat that as a question unless you want me to. It sounds a little rhetorical, like it answers itself, but we have awful products because we see how our companies work from the inside. We see that they are more invested in, I'll put it up as a question. Why not? We're going to talk about it a little bit. And Urvi, I'm glad that helped you out. So let me put this on the questions list. We'll treat it as a question or kind of a point of discussion. What page am I on here? Where did it go? Here it is. Yeah, so we still have awful products because people aren't looking for those unmet needs. They're not customer centric. Someone's like, hey, let's build a thing because it's cool, or the competitor's doing it, or all these things. People are not taking the time to understand their target customers or users, their systems, their context, their tasks, their workflows, their needs, their unmet needs. They're not taking the time to do that. And so we are guessing at what people need. We are stabbing at it, which of course is violent. I apologize, but we are just pin the tail on the, how about we do this? And that's why we still have so many awful products. And that's what I'm trying to remind people and say, hey, you're doing all that design thinking and design sprints and just ship it and we'll fix it later. How's that working? No, how's it really working? And what were our success criteria for that? Because it doesn't look like it's working. That's how I feel. You tell me how you feel. This is Office Hours. Ask Me Anything. We do this every Tuesday, though we have a special bonus one from time to time with Darren Hood and Dr. Nick. That's usually today, but we moved it to this Friday as a holiday present for those of you celebrating holidays. I don't, but they will be our Friday guests instead of a reaction stream. So come join the Three Musketeers for Office Hours. Ask Me Anything on Friday. Don't even know what I'm looking at. Why do people send emails like this? We're so excited to announce that LastPass will be an independent company. I don't care. What made you think I cared? Wah, wah. Any other questions while I'm here? We've got 5 minutes. Remember to come tomorrow for micro lessons with Larry Marine. He's awesome. And we're going to teach you things for free. Just come. After that, let's see, Friday, of course, is Office Hours Ask Us Anything with Darren and Dr. Nick. Monday the 20th is learning how to make your portfolio in WordPress, courtesy of my boyfriend. That's probably going to be a very long show. The last time he test drove that, it took 2 hours. So that might be a long show. Okay, Adair has another question. Oh, Brian got that email too. LastPass was like, we're doing some stuff. I know, who cares? Meaningful, actionable, helpful, do not care. All right, Adair says, Debbie, a question. Which sacred cow of UX do you most disagree with? Heuristic, canvas, frameworks, whatever that might be. Yeah, it's funny to me that since I follow user-centered design and human-centered design, we don't really have sacred cows that I think are crap or something I disagree with. It's once you branch out from that there are things that I tend to disagree with, things that have been brought in more recently. In my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, they've been around forever and I didn't notice. But I would say probably one of the ones I hate the most is the empathy map. And I hate the empathy map because I find that it's not meaningful, actionable, or helpful. First of all, it's 50% guessed or made up. You've got what people do. Hopefully you observed them. If you didn't observe them, then what people do was totally made up and it's bullshit. You've got what people say. If you didn't talk to them and you're making up what they say, then that part was bullshit. But if you observed them and talked to them, then those could be real. But then you've got what they think and what they feel. If the person didn't say, I think this, or I'm feeling this, then it is our guess what they think and what they feel. And that is not being a low ego action hero. That is being a high ego, I don't know what, a high ego person to imagine I am so great at this that I know what people are thinking and feeling. Here comes that woo-woo stuff again. So I hate empathy maps because even if you make a good empathy map, then what do you do with it? Does it affect your information architecture? Does it affect your content strategy because you think people feel squishy about this thing? Did it help your interaction design? Did it help business strategy? If it is not helping these things, why are we doing it? So to me, the sacred cows that I'm burning down, or these trendy things or popular things, the ones that I don't like in general are the ones that I do not find to be meaningful, actionable, and helpful. As Larry would tell you, if they are not setting our next steps or work up for success, then why are we doing them? What are they for? Meaningless marketing personas. Great for marketing, meaningless for us. It doesn't matter if someone likes Starbucks and is 70% kind. Maybe I need this hand. 70% kind. I can't information architect for that. So anything that is meaningless is stuff I'm trying to burn down. Not only is it a waste of our time, and our time is so precious, but we look really ridiculous to some of our coworkers when we come up with these fluffy things. I made an empathy map. I have mapped human empathy. No, you haven't. You still don't have empathy for these people. You're making a quadrant-based thing about what you think people do and think and say, and then what did you do? That's when I roll out this graphic. Congratulations on having empathy. Did you have knowledge? Do you know anything about our users? Or are these guesses? And then what action did you take? Are we doing anything? Are we doing the right thing? So congratulations on your empathy. Wah, wah. Yasir says, agree. Larry says, so the puppy's out now? No, you're still going to need the puppy. And we'll take Caroline's question last, and then we're going to have to play ourselves out of here since we're running out of time. Always hug the puppies, y'all. Okay, so Caroline is on YouTube, so I've got to put the question up on the screen via the magic of copy and paste. Let's press 4 and let's roll out 1. There we go. Sorry, that means something in my system. These are numbered 4. Things that fade in are 4s and things that slide in are 1s. So Caroline asks, where do you start when you're the only and junior UX designer? Observation and user testing first? Not necessarily, Because if you start by trying to see how people are using your current system, what typically happens is you end up making small changes to your current system. You go, well, we asked people to do this task in the system, and it looks like it could be a little better if we did this. Now, that's not bad. That could be a way to start proving yourself if you're in a company who really doesn't get UX, and even a small improvement could be celebrated. But if you really want to try to make something, oh, why am I doing this? This is a free UX critical thinking course. Every show on this channel is a free UX critical thinking course. Yes, yes, thank you. Let's just put that up on the screen because it was awesome, which means I have to roll out number 4 and roll in the number 1. One woman show. Yes, every show is please tell your friends and leaders and managers and loved ones. This should be watch party at every company, I think. So, so observational research, yes, but user testing, not so much, unless you have a specific concept or idea or prototype that you're looking to get feedback on. But if the question is, where do we start? My question is, what do we know about our target users and customers or partners, whoever we are trying to get money out of or something out of? What do we really know about them? Other than marketing's personas that says they're 27 and they drink Starbucks and they're 70% kind. What do we really know about this? Charlene, if you're still here, can you please hide Erica from the channel? Or Pier Mario, are you watching right now?
I'm watching, but I'm not a moderator.
You're not a moderator? I thought I made you a moderator. You can't click on, you don't have a three dots next to these people where you can hide them from the channel? No, it's not a report. It's a hide from channel.
I don't know. I used to have that on Twitch.
You had that on Twitch. Okay, I have to set you up as a thing. If you're in, hold on. Let me see if I can get in there. Anyway, let's talk about this. Everybody help out Caroline while I open up the YouTube and set my boyfriend up to be able to throw out spammers. And no, block would just be you personally. I need you to boot them from the channel. No problem. I'm working on it. So again, observational research is good and important, and I think that's a direction you're going to want to go. But hold on, I've got 3 dots, and I can say hide user from channel. Good. Wah, wah. Pier Mario, can you write a comment in the YouTube channel so I can mark you as a moderator? Thanks. So observational research, yes, but that means you're going to have to plan it and execute it. And if you're new, you might not be too familiar with that. You might want to watch the micro lessons about some of that, because I know you're junior, but I don't know how much of any of this you know or have done before or are good at. But observational research is the best way to learn more about our users and customers and or target people, and that way we can start to make better decisions around them, strategize the right products, prioritize the right products, which we'll be talking about tomorrow, products and features. To me, it's got to tie back to business strategy and intelligence and building the right thing. So just testing a concept will tell you something about the concept, but what do we really know about the people? Can you post a comment to the YouTube stream, please? That's how I have to mark you as a moderator. Oh, hey, Siroko, I didn't see you sneak in there. Caroline, I hope that helps. You can always follow up with me directly if you'd like. Oh, good. Here's my boyfriend commenting, and now I can give him the power of moderating. And add moderator. Boom. Thank you. Okay. Alrighty, so I'm going to wind down for today. And again, Caroline, if you want to talk more about this, again, you can always visit deltacx.com/links. I've got a free coaching session. Everybody can get one. And if you'd like to use it for this, you can. Hello, Rajendra. We are just ending. Caroline says more about targets. Yeah, exactly. What do we know about the people who are our customers or potential customers? What do we really know about them? Because testing a concept in usability testing is nice, but what if we didn't know enough about people and we're guessing at the concept? We can always prove that it usability tested well. But what if it's not the right product or the right idea or the right execution for our target customers? Congratulations that it usability tested well. It might still be a mismatch. So with that, I'm going to play us out of here. Thanks to everybody for making this a really fun and lively episode. I'm happy to see so many people who are here live, especially as we get so much closer to the so-called holiday season. I don't do holidays and I work straight through them. So for some of you, it's holidays and for some of you, it is not. Let's see. I hope I'll see everybody here tomorrow, same time, 6:30 p.m. Italy time, as we do a micro lesson with Larry Marine on prioritization. Thanks to Katie for staying for the whole show. I'm glad you had the time for it. Thanks to Niku. Good to see you, Niku. See you on Instagram. And oh, Sophie, thanks for you being here too. And Larry and Adair and oh my gosh, everybody. Too many to name. Grazie. So see everybody tomorrow for micro lessons on prioritization. Thanks, be safe, and good night. Customer centricity as business intelligence. Visit deltacx.com to learn why we are